Hi everyone, this is Cindy from Vintage to New, and so we're going to do the cover art on our journal today. And I'm going to show you the piece that is mine that I'm going to use, but you could choose anything you want. I named it In the Peaceful Garden, and it's a little bee skeep, and it says, "A quiet summer space of garden flowers and toiling bees." So there's that. And to round out, so when you're printing this out, you're not wasting your sheet of paper, I added a 1923 calendar across from it. And you can cut that out and we'll put it in the book as a journaling card or something. Now, when we printed our book, we printed everything 7 inches tall. I printed this 6 inches tall because on the page, it's on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and that would be way too big for our book. So 6 inches is how I printed this. I laid down a foundation of a brown paper bag. Then I added my cheesecloth on top, and I added lace just to see if this is something that I would like for the front of my book. And I think I like it a lot. So I'm going to take it off. And I'm going to use a glue stick, just a regular glue stick, and glue everything, just tack everything down, take it over and sew around it, and then come back. And if you're using just a regular, like an Elmer's glue stick, a washable one especially, it doesn't gum up the needle of your machine. So you can sew around that without any worries at all. So let me do all that and I'll be right back. I was going to show you a little bit of this gluing down. I'm just using I think it's probably dollar store, washable craft glue stick. The lace that I'm using came like this. It's double-sided, so I cut the length that I wanted and I cut it up the middle so I have 2 matching pieces. I've already done the sides, so now I'm going to put some glue at the bottom, and this is just tacking it in so that I can have it a little bit in place when I sew. And be sure and get your lace going the right way. There's a right side up and an upside down sometimes on your lace. And just tacking it down like that. Okay, and I've already attached the just lightly attached. This glue stick doesn't really stick the cheesecloth to the paper bag, and then I'm just gonna load up the back of this picture. And just place it down about where I want it. Like I said, this would not hold it for real at all. But there. Okay, so now I'm going to take this over and sew it, and I shall be right back. Okay, so here you can see I have sewn around it. I did 2 rows of stitching around. I am going to put fray check. This is what fray check is. It's made by Dritz. I've had this for years and years and years. And my one tip is when you open the bottle is to keep a little sewing pin right here in the top. It keeps it from drying out. That's at least for me. And what this does is it will keep it from unraveling more, because that lace has got a raw edge right there because I cut it. Don't get it on your photograph. I don't think that would be a good plan, especially an inkjet photograph. So anyway, that's all it takes. It's just that little teeny dot. Put your pin back in. Like I said, I've had this for years and years and years, and you can use it quite a lot. All right, now, if you remember way back in one of my earlier videos, I always say to use a lot of cheesecloth because it tends to like shrink up, and then it won't work for you if it's too shrunk up. So just put it on and then trim it down once it's on. because I like lots of little raggedy edges. So I'm going to go ahead and fray this, and it's probably still too big. But we'll pull this out, see what we've got. I think I'm going to trim up here. Now, the other thing you have to remember on the right-hand side of your image that we're making here, that we're going to put on our book, is we still have to leave room to do the closure, whatever you decide to do for a closure. I'm going to use what's called a hitch post. They're made by Tim Holtz. He makes everything. But there's lots of other things you could do. But for today, we're going to do that. It's nice and easy. I'm going to just trim that up a little that way. I'm going to trim a little off the side. It's nice and easy. They're not very expensive. Gives a really nice finish. Okay. Alrighty, and then this last little corner up here. This is just a real simple, basic cover. Some people do really beautiful, elaborate things, but I thought, just getting started out, we'll start out simple. The nice thing about doing a cover is you can embellish it with a lot more things than you can inside your cover, because you don't necessarily have to worry too much about it being bulky. So like you could put real buttons on the front, which is so exciting. Who doesn't love buttons? Buttons are just sheer happiness. They just make me happy. So there is that. And the one thing I noticed, I'll be honest, I forgot to antique my paper sack. So let's get our little sheet and do that. So my preference is parchment paper for working with when I'm doing gluing or antiquing. Parchment paper, if you get the treated parchment paper, it comes with silicone on it. And really, truly, nothing likes to stick to silicone. So it works the best when you're, trying to protect your stuff from glue or something like that. This doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to keep my mat more clean. But the silicone is really, really nice. And wax paper has wax on it, and not very much stuff likes to stick to wax either. And it is a little less expensive. So use what you have, but I use a lot of parchment paper when I cook. I love how it keeps things from sticking on a cookie sheet. So if you're cooking things that like to stick, I've mentioned before, I have a really great chicken wing recipe. And chicken wings are notorious. If you put them on the cookie sheet, they're going to stick. If you put them on foil, they're going to stick. But parchment paper, they don't stick. So that's my cooking tip for today. All right, isn't that pretty? I thought these ladies looked really cute with that. And so what we do now is we just bring our book out. And you see how I left room here to put my closure in the center. That looks great. So the only thing left to do is to glue this down. It kind of gives the illusion that you sewed everything on to your book, which we all know that's not gonna work, but it looks really nice. Do you have to sew around it? If you don't have a sewing machine, no. You can just glue it all down. But if you've got a sewing machine and you know how to use it, or can learn how to use it, if you look on other sections of my YouTube channel. I used to teach sewing. I have sewing school on there. I have all kinds of things for sewing. So maybe you could pick up a tip or two in your sewing there. So there's that. So now let's put our closure on so it will help hold this book a little more closed. All right, so hold on. Okay, so here we are. So this is what they look like. It's Tim Holtz Ideology right there. Hitch fastener is what it's called. There's 12 of them that come in a package. They look like this. They're a little knob and a screw. That's all that is, and that's for the front part of your book. Then you need to have some kind of a eyelet for the back of your book. I'm going to use this bigger eyelet. You can use a regular eyelet. I have even used grommets before. The difference, in my opinion, I haven't looked this up for a complete definition, but an eyelet is one piece, a grommet is two pieces. It's usually bigger around, and they have the one part, and then there's a washer that goes on the back, and when you pound it, it's the washer that gets worked in. This is just all one piece. So that's that. Set that aside. I'm going to use my crocodile. Let's do the eyelet first. And if you are nervous at all about finding the exact center, use a ruler. And sometimes centimeters are easier because they're just straightforward. I'm just moving this a little this way and this a little this way, and it makes it 20, and so 10 is the center. So like that. But this book should have been pretty easy because it was, well, it's 7 and a little over a half, so you'd have to do some math on that. And I don't trust my math. So what we do is we poke a hole right in the center, like so. We stick our grommet in, or our eyelet. See, and this one is just barely going to make it through. You put the, here it is, see the little thing that hangs down here? You put that into the center of your eyelet, like that, and then squeeze it down. Nice and tight. Oh, good. It came through. So I think the green looks nice. Alrighty, then we flip it around here to the front, and we're going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to overextend it just about the same on both sides. There's 10. I'm going to put my mark right there. Get my little doodads out of the way. I'm using the big hole on my punch. The big hole on my punch. Why is that not coming out? I think the book chipboard really got stuck in there. So get that out of there. Okay. And now we're going to poke the hole here. Hold on. I got to be able to see. So it's in the right spot. Give it a good punch. Then we, hold on. We get our screwdriver. We put the screw up through. Put the little post on, screw it on, then we hold it and tighten it with a screwdriver. And this is just a little screwdriver that goes with my sewing machine. It was in my drawer. How cool is that? So there's that. All right. Then you have to make the really big decision of what are you going to use to tie it closed. So I'm going to just use some coffee stained muslin. I think that just goes perfect with this. The other thing we could do, we could use some of our seam binding. That'd look really pretty. I love the green, especially with this this photo here. Let's go ahead and use this. So what we need to do is get a nice long piece. We're going to give it a cut. And I'm going to use that fray check on this too because it's going to be used a lot. It's going to be manhandled around as you're opening and closing your book. And it frays like crazy. So take something and poke it through the book. Go through the loop. Come up here. Push your book down to where you think you would like it to be. I mean, don't smush it, but a nice little tension on it. Put a bow in it. All right, and so when you open and close it, you don't have to tie it and untie it every time. Push your book down farther and pull it open, and then you can just push it back up like that. So now I'm going to decide, I'm going to leave a little bit more because I think this book is going to grow just a tiny bit more. I'm going to put these together so they're facing each way, give it a trim, get my fray check back. And, take the pin out. And just put a little dash of it along the edge. Now if you're using a satin ribbon, you can use a lighter and just barely touch the end of it and it melts it, but that doesn't work on this seam binding. I used to do that all the time when I would make clothes. If you're using satin ribbon, just use a lighter and just go right across the bottom of it really quick and it melts it. So, and this does take a minute to dry. The other thing I wanted to do, I think I want to put some lace on the back of this. I have two choices. I have the same lace we used in the front, which is this one. And I think it's going to be my pick because it's a little bit narrower. This is such a small little book. So something like that, and it matches, which is nice. And then I have this larger one. Okay, so I'm back. I have no idea when my camera stopped recording earlier, so hopefully not too long ago. We're still not friends yet. I'm gonna have to really get used to this camera. It's very disappointing. I thought it was going to be such a good deal for shooting my videos because it was a much more expensive camera than the one I used to use. It had good reviews for YouTubers and stuff. Well, maybe not people who don't watch, you know, every minute while they're recording. I mean, if it would give a beep, you know, when it's going to quit recording, or a beep if the battery decides to go out, or, you know, just something. It'd sure be nice for me, maybe not for everybody. So anyway, I've got the lace in the top, and now I'm just going to run a little bit of glue down the bottom and the side and up like this across the spine. I love the look of the stitching back there, but I think this garden book will benefit from some beautiful, beautiful lace. Lace goes with everything. All right, so Let me trim this. All right, flick this up here and glue this down, pushing it around the edge. You know what I'm discovering? I'm developing something, a new condition. It's called antiquer's thumb. This antique thumb is constantly got antiquing stain on it. I know other people are not as messy as me. And I just tend to be full of gusto when I use my antiquing, and it gets on my hands. And sometimes I shoot these videos one after the other. I don't spend a lot of time in between. So I've got antiquer's thumb. So excuse my antiquer's thumb. It's kind of ugly. All right. So there is that. All right. So if you remember, we put these dangle bobs up here on these tags, and they're cool, but they're a little bit long. So I want to trim those off. And my dollar store kid scissors work better than those. So until I find my good scissors, we'll use that. All right. So here is the lace on the spine. It looks beautiful. Here's our nice textured front, our tie. We still, oh, I'm not supposed to untie that. I'm supposed to just unhook it. Ta-da. All right, let's pull that open. And then the centers of these signatures. All right, we still have these, and we need to do something with those. So hold on just a second. Okay, I have two charms here that are little birds, a swallow or a bluebird or something like that. So I'm going to put one in each signature, and then I'm going to come back and put something at the bottom to hold some more of the little bee illustrations that I have. The front has the bee skeep on it. I thought that would be really nice. So getting this waxed linen through here is a little harder than you might think. Okay, so there we go. So just decide how far down you want them to dangle or not. You could do it so that it finished up here in the book, but I'm going to have it dangle just a little bit, because that way you can choose to dangle it out or push it in and close your book, whichever. So nice strong knot. Give it a clip. And then do the back side. We're getting down there. So after this, I think I'm going to go through and just finish up any little details of things that I would like to see in here. And then we'll do a final flip through, and this journal will be done. That's always exciting. So let me finish that, and you'll see whatever I do on these two strings on the final flip through. So until next time, this was Cindy from Vintage to New.